Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Headbangers Closet. Appreciate you tuning in. Today we're going to talk about a band that I kind of recently got into. When I say recently, I mean like the last 3 or 4 years. It's the band Death. I haven't really talked a whole lot about death metal on this channel. I love death metal. Didn't really do that on purpose. Just don't have a lot of death metal bands, in my collection. Got a handful of them, but like I said, I love death metal. It's really a subgenre of metal that I've kind of recently got into over the past like 5 or 6 years. And if you've been watching this channel, you know how much I just hate subgenres. But, it's the world we live in. Unfortunately, sometimes you kind of got to categorize them as such and talk about them. But without further ado, we're going to talk about my favorite death metal band and the pioneers, really, in my opinion, of what we know about death metal today is the band Death. Their band name is in the genre death metal. So, first album, and we're going to talk just about my vinyl collection. Most of Death's records came out in the 90s, where vinyl was kind of rare, and you could find them, but they're expensive as shit. I like to have the first pressings, or at least our original year, but that's expensive, and I just don't have, I'm not rich. But what's great is in 2020, Relapse Records reissued them all. So I went ahead and bought them and completed the collection, because I had a couple lying around, but I just got the rest of them on vinyl from Relapse, and as you guys know, I left my color vinyl, so you'll see what's up. But anyway, first record, Scream Bloody Gore, just a badass cover, probably their best cover, in my opinion. Somebody put in the comments of one of my other videos, I don't talk about the actual songs enough, just the band and the album, so we're going to talk about some songs on each record. Favorite songs on side 1 would be Zombie Ritual and Regurgitated Guts, and then Infernal Death. Side 2, we've got Evil Dead and Scream Bloody Gore. Evil Dead is probably my favorite song on the record, probably my favorite Death song. Just really, really cool. And all these Relapse records, you'll kind of see they kind of have something in common. So anyway, you got the gatefold lyrics and photos. Death is famous for having a revolving door of band members. It's mainly Chuck. For this record, he moved from his hometown in Florida to California. He's got Jeff Reifer on drums. Chuck did the guitar, bass, and vocals. And yeah, that was the only album that Chris played on, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of guys on this. Steve DiGiorgio played bass. He's also in Testament. You've got Paul Maldivi on guitar on one of the albums. I think it was called Individual Thought Patterns, is what he played on. You've got Steve Christie played on a record on drums. So we're not really going to go over all the band members. It's really weird to have such turnover in a band and have the band still be as awesome as they are, which is a testament to Chuck. Yes, he was kind of labeled as difficult to work with, especially if you watch the documentary. They really kind of portray him as kind of a dick. But the guy was a genius. He knew what he wanted. He wrote the songs. He wrote all the parts. And he was just great. And that's why the band's awesome on every record, despite the different lineup changes. So these are the Pinwheel reissues. They're all pinwheeled. But they've all got a little bit different labels. So this is kind of the Death guy, the Scream Bloody Gore guy, and that's the beige, and there's the red. So that's pretty cool. I think Relapse Records did a really good job with these reissues. We'll go over each one as we do it here. So this album came out, Scream Bloody Gore, came out on May 25th, 1987. And basically hair metal and your basic thrash metal were kings at that time. This was something new. You can hear elements of what we now have as death metal now on this record. But what's kind of interesting is even though Chuck had a lot of the guttural death metal vocals on this record, it kind of progressed into not as much. A little bit cleaner vocals. There's still death metal, but a little more cleaner. We'll talk about that as we go along. The next album is Leprosy. Another badass cover right there. Leprosy came out August 12th, 1988. Badass cover. So this one is actually a Relapse record, but it's not the reissue. This one I think came out like 2014, and it is just a clear grayish color. The other disc is the exact same thing. This one is basically the gatefold. You get the lyrics and stuff like that. And then there's no liner notes or no photos, just a gatefold record. Again, Relapse record, but not the reissue from 2020. But this one is. Same thing, only it's just one record. The other one is basically broken down, obviously, to side A and side B for both, 1 and 2. So, talk about that really quick. So you basically have side A and side B, which is the records, and on the second record, you've got basically the demo versions and the work in progress of the song. Left to Die is open a couple times. Choke on It's on there multiple times. So you kind of basically get your demo and your work in progress versions on this double vinyl set. So this is the 2020 reissues, the pink, blue, and white splatter pinwheel. Again, the Leprosy Guy, different colors, gray and then beige. Everything back in there. I want to take good care of these because these were reissues, and after you kind of bought them, Relapse record doesn't have many more. And they kind of sold out. So there's the gatefold photos of the guys, and then all the lyrics. So great second effort from the band. You kind of hear the progression from the first album. A little bit better songwriting, a little bit better production, a little bit better songs overall. The musicianship. That's definitely one thing when it comes to Death Records. The musicianship is not lacking. Even with the turnover, Chuck gets some of the better musicians in the industry to play on the record. So, with the album Leprosy, obviously you have the song Leprosy, which is a great song. Born Dead, Forgotten Past, Left to Die is awesome. But on side B, you get Pull the Plug, another famous Death song, which is great. My favorite one has to be Open Casket. Just from the beginning of the song was that awesome, just that drum, and then just the end of the song where there's open casket, just that chugging riff, just badass. Favorite song on the album by far, Open Casket. Next one we have, and we're gonna just kind of take these out of the plastic. I usually don't like the plastic these, but they've got the Relapse reissue barcode and everything about it, so I think I want to keep them. Probably my favorite overall record. I know I said Scream Bloody Gore, but my favorite, album cover art. This thing came out on February 16th, 1990. So we're basically going, the first two records came out just a little bit over a year apart, when this one was 2 years, a little over 2 years. So anyway, February 16th, 1990. It's nice to know that back in 1990, evangelical Christians were also, back then, inspiring heavy metal albums. So there's the back, which is cool. The guy's like, exorcising the demon out of the sick guy. That's, he's probably got some serious mental issues, and they're thinking it's a demon, which is funny. Anyway, maybe not. So again, Relapse record reissue. You got the gatefold with the photos, and then you got the lyric notes. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So you got the spiritual healing guy, like the sick guy there with the gray logo, and then there's the preacher right there in the tan and red logo, which is, I really like how they did that. So that's the first 3 albums. That's the way they did them. So we're going to see a little bit of a change in the way Relapse did up the other 4 records. And I believe that's probably because this is the end of the records for Death having like a mascot to them. So with the Scream Bloody Gore guy, the leprosy dude, and then the preacher and the sick guy. So you'll see what I mean when I get to the next ones, but let's talk about the record. This record, the songs get a little bit longer, and they're a little more progressive and proggy. Favorite songs are Living Monstrosity and Altering the Future are my favorite songs on the record. Within the Mind is really good. Spiritual Healing is really good. But Living Monstrosity, Altering the Future are my 2 favorite songs on the record. So, like I said, first 3 records, there's definitely like a mascot kind of deal going on there. So the next one is Human. Came out October 22nd, 1991. The records here start getting a little odd as far as cover art. And I can say that these next 3 records, I am not really a huge fan of the cover art. Again, gatefold, photos, and some lyrics, everything. And again, we're not going to go over the dudes in the band. There's really no need to at this point. It's basically I've always thought it's a Chuck show. He just brings in dudes to play. Yes, they are excellent musicians and experienced musicians, but there's just way too many of them to discuss them all. Same deal with the labels, though. This one is actually not the same deal. It's the same damn color. But you notice it's just the album, the band logo. Not a ton, really, to discuss as far as the label on the actual record. Pretty cool, clear pinwheel, though. So, this one got some really great songs on it. This one is when, in my opinion, when they start to get a little bit heavier, kind of like that on that back end, a little bit more weight to the songs. Heavy, obviously, on the first 3 records. No shortage of heaviness there. But this one, they just add a little bit more weight. Flattening of Emotions is a great song. Suicide Machine is just heavy as shit. Great song. Side B, Lack of Comprehension is probably my favorite song on the record. Along with Vacant Planets, which is also on side B. Lack of Comprehension had a video, which was just them playing on an empty soundstage, but it's just a badass song. Really great record. So this next one, Individual Thought Patterns. Take the plastic off. Again, you got kind of a weird looking cover. This is my least favorite album by Death. Individual Thought Patterns came out on June 22nd, 1993. So they basically put 2 albums when I was in high school, 2 albums when I was in college. So, yeah, I'm old. And that's, again, gatefold with the photos and liner notes. And again, this is a pinwheel. This is a little bit more clear version of a pinwheel. And again, we just have the band logo there. And then on this side, it's just a picture of Chuck and some of the other guys, which is pretty cool. But I really like the marketing and the packaging that Relapse did. I think they did an excellent job of just making each one just doing something individually different with each one, but kind of stayed true to the artwork of the actual record. So I think that's really, really cool. But yeah, so this one, like I said, my least favorite Death record, but they got some good songs. Overactive Imagination is a good song. Trapped in a Corner has one of the most badass guitar solos on it, and I believe the guy doing the solo is the guitar player for Merciful Fate. I could be mistaken. I think I heard that before. But anyway, Mentally Blind, Individual Thought Patterns, and The Philosopher on side B. The Philosopher is a great song. But overall, I mean, great song. Again, each album, they get a little bit more progressive in the progression of musicianship. But this is my least favorite one. But they follow it up with my favorite one, which is Symbolic. This is not a Relapse reissue. This is an OG copy on Relapse Records. Or no, it's not. It is on Metal Blade Records. So this one they didn't put out on Relapse Records, which was weird. So I tweeted them, and when somebody was like, "Yeah, they didn't own. Relapse didn't do this one." I was like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense why they put out all the ones they had. And I was like, well, that's weird. They did all the other ones, and then they did the album that's after this one. But whatever. I don't know shit about record companies. But what I do know is I've been looking at this one on Discogs for like 2 years now, and they're pretty pricey. Between $60 for a shit copy and $80, $85 for a good one. So I happened to be looking on Amazon, and there was, a suggestion of something you might be into. And I was like, okay, check it out. It was Death Symbolic. So I clicked it, and I was like, well, I kind of don't really recognize the barcode number there. So I looked it up on Discogs, and it was the white version. I was like, well, it can't be the white version. It's $25. I was like, look down, and lo and behold, it's a limited edition colored vinyl. I was like, all right, I'm going to buy it, $25. If it comes in as black vinyl, whatever. But if it comes in as white vinyl, it's a huge bonus. So there's the lyric, just one sheet here. So anyway, it comes in, and I open it up as quick as I can, and lo and behold, she's white. And ain't she beautiful? Nothing different, just the same logo label on the inside, but really cool. So I'm actually going to put this up, and I'm probably never going to play it because I don't want to mess it up, because I don't want to have to buy another one. But this is probably my favorite record by Death. I have my 3 favorite records are as follows. It would be Symbolic, and then probably Sound of Perseverance, and then Scream Bloody Gore, followed by Leprosy and Spiritual Healing, Human and Individual Thought Patterns. But this one's a barn burner. Symbolic, Zero Tolerance, Empty Words, Scared Serenity, or Sacred Serenity, A Thousand Eyes, Without Judgment, Crystal Mountain, Misanthrope, and Perennial Quest. None of these are bad songs. There's not a skipper on the track, on the record. As we like to say as fans not experts, all killer, no filler. This thing's awesome. It's basically the culmination of everything great about all the Death records that came before it into just one masterpiece. So this would be, like, in my opinion, like their Rust in Peace, their Master of Puppets, their Seasons in the Abyss, or, you know, Rain and Blood, whatever you want to go back and forth with me for Slayer. Anyway, those are my three favorite bands. But this is great. So this is their crowning achievement, in my opinion. Great record. So after this one, kind of comes out, and I believe Chuck was trying to start a new band. He was trying to put Death to rest, start a new band. He's got some other guys, you know, writing songs, and the record label was like, no, we want a Death record. So they had these other songs for this other band, which it's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember what the hell the name of the band was. But anyway, so they're like, all right, let's just put it out as Death records. So they did. So I picked up this record, thinking this was the Relapse reissue. It's out by Relapse, but I was a little shocked. So let's put the record up. This came out on August 31st, 1998. So let's check it out right there. It's a gatefold. There's the dudes in the band. Or maybe this is the Relapse reissue. Yeah, okay, sorry. The other one is the different one. So this is the Relapse reissue. It's got the album cover right there, and then the Death logo. And the other one's a little bit different color. Pinwheel, again, the album cover, Death logo. Really cool. This, like I said, I made a mistake. This is the Relapse 2020 version. Pretty cool album cover. Kind of, oh shoot. The gatefold, they always slide out. So, kind of getting away from the last three, which are kind of just weird album covers. This one's pretty cool. But Scavenger of Human Sorrows, badass. Spirit Crusher's awesome. Storyteller's great. Flesh and the Power It Holds is great. And then the instrumental, which is a beautiful instrumental song. The Voice of the Soul. And then To Forgive Is to Suffer is great. Then they do a Judas Priest cover, Painkiller. I think they did Gods of Thunder, a Kiss cover on one of the other records. But that Judas Priest song sounds pretty good. But anyway, this is a great record. This is the Relapse, Gatefold Relapse reissue. I don't really know why they put it into 2 LPs, but whatever they did. Didn't really charge extra either, which is great. So anyway, so this is the one I want to talk about. When I was looking for the reissue for Relapse, I came across this one. This is also a Relapse Records release, but it's a little different. This is a gatefold. This is a little bit big, but it's 3 vinyl, okay? They're all the same. I'm just going to show you the one. Pretty cool right there. I really got to turn off that other monitor. Oh, well, Hollywood right here, guys. Editing techniques. I'm not quite there yet with all the graphics and editing and all that shit. I'm just doing this in my little man cave here with all my Metallica box sets behind me, my posters, all my CD, the vinyls over there, which you cannot see at the moment. Maybe one day when I get this shit put up, I'll, put the camera out and let you guys see everything, but it's not quite done yet. Anyway, long story short, this is all 3 are green, which is really cool. So for the first 2 LPs, you basically got side A and side B on each, which is the record. And then on side A and side B of the third one, you've got all the demos and work in progress versions, which is really cool. I love it when bands and record companies do that. For the diehards, you just get, what that record sounds like when, they haven't done the lyrics yet. So it's just the music or just the riff tapes. So it's really cool, really good album. Highly recommend checking it out. Highly recommend you guys checking out the band Death. You will not be disappointed. It is a band that I kind of had to... I've been into them the last 3 or 4 years, but I kind of had to get into them gradually. I liked a handful of individual songs, But it took me a while to kind of like, one day I think I streamed them on Spotify for like the entire day, and I was like, these guys kick ass. And then I just kind of became a diehard fan. What sucks is that Chuck passed away shortly after The Sound of Perseverance what came out, I believe. Brain tumor, and I never got to see the band live. And we have some live, recordings out there that Relapse has put out. I don't own those right now. I will eventually, but unfortunately, I never got to see the band live, so that sucks. But rest in peace, Chuck. The guy was a genius. So anyway, let me know what you think about the band Death. Let me know what you think about Chuck. Do you think he was difficult to work with? Think he was a genius? Whatnot? I want to know all your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Go find me on Instagram. Headbangers Closet Instagram. A lot of you guys have been going on there and following me, and I appreciate that. I'll follow you guys back. It's a new page. I've only got a handful of posts, but I'm doing each video, doing the link, taking pictures of my collection and posting them. If I see that an album has a birthday that day, I try to put that out on Instagram, so I really appreciate you guys following me there. Anyway, that's it. Check out the band Death. You will not be disappointed. And next time we will talk about something else. Haven't figured it out yet. We'll get to it. Cheers.